Hello and welcome to Howson's Brew. My name is Stephen Howson and joining me today is Motty from Full Time Devils. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I say Full Time Devils and the Scotty and Motty podcast. If you're not already subscribed, you should subscribe. The link is in the description. Of course, I'm not actually Stephen Howson, but Stephen Howson is on the way. Yeah, look closely, Jay. I tricked you there, didn't I? I tricked you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is
give me a heads up.
Similar beard, but I'm not actually Stephen Howson. He will be here very shortly. He's driving home. We've been to play golf for the fixture list. We've recorded it. It's been a real rush. It took us longer than we thought. We are a lot worse at golf than we thought. So he's on the way home now.
You've been to play golf for the fixture list?
Yeah, the fixture list is a show that we do on Stephen's channel. Right. So we're recording that there. We've also got a behind-the-scenes vlog coming out for the Paddock members that we're coming out over the weekend. So there's plenty of content going out, but it just means that Stephen is driving home now. So he'll be here very soon. And he's coming on the podcast. Don't worry about that. It's not just going to be me and Jay, but it could be me and Jay. Won't be. It'd still be good, wouldn't it? Still be good. Not that I'm knocking it. I'm just saying he is coming. How you doing then, mate? You all right?
Yeah, mate. Good. You know, we're plodding along. You know, a little bit more exciting though recently, as you mentioned off air. There's actual bit of different news.
Actual transfer news, actual sort of football coming back, actual news coming back. There looks to be some contract talks as well that we might have a chat about in a bit. There also looks to be a little bit of clarity on transfer windows as well. It's a bit kind of vague, but we'll get to that in a bit. But Donny van der Beek is the main story that's been coming out over the weekend and now into this week. Everyone's sort of scrambling to get their news together because it's actually like, oh, it looks like something's actually happening here, or it seems like something's happening here. So the first thing that we saw of it was over the weekend, there were rumours coming from the Telegraph in Holland and the Times in England saying that United are interested in him and that we're actually going for him, and Madrid are kind of a bit not sure. And you sort of think, well, what? Actually, I'll get your opinion. What was your thoughts when you first started seeing this one come out? Because we've been sort of half linked with him for a few months now, aren't we? It's not brand new, but this sort of wave of reliability seems to be quite new. What are your thoughts on all this?
When I first saw it, I was quite dismissive because I've always thought that our transfer business this summer, whether it happens or not, is obvious what we're trying to do and who we're trying to get. In that it's Jadon Sancho, possibly Jack Grealish, and very unlikely, but still sort of on the radar in terms of a story is Koulibaly, even though I don't think that one will happen. It's still a story that gets regurgitated every now and again, and it pops up and you think, all right, I've heard that before. I don't think it'll happen, but certainly with Grealish and with Sancho and Bellingham as well. Sorry, I almost forgot. Jude Bellingham is another one that just keeps going because you think there's legs in it. We know that there's contact there between Bellingham's family and his agent and the club. So, you expect it. So this one came a bit left field and I thought, really? Doubtful, but like you said, a few people have been mentioning it. Listen, it's good to be linked with good players. He is a good player, and I don't think that we're in a position where we can say no. We don't. I've seen this sort of narrative. We don't need him. We don't. I think we always need players of that quality, and especially I think where United are now. I mean, I grew up with a team where you had quality throughout the squad, not just the team. And I mean real quality. You had players who were internationals who were struggling to get in the first team. You had Scholes and Keane as your midfield, and you went and bought Veron. Those sort of that sort of attitude. And I know we're not at that level now, but there's no reason why we shouldn't aspire to it. And if we could get him, I don't think anyone would be complaining. But I think there's other players that have to be a priority. And for me, Jadon Sancho, and I've been saying this for a little while now. I know a few of us has to be the priority. So if this was to come at the expense of Sancho, I'd be a little bit disappointed. If this came as well as, even though I'm rather skeptical, if it came as well as Sancho, I won't be complaining.
Yeah, we've got this thing where people go, oh, is he... And I'm guilty of it myself sometimes. You think, oh, is he what we need? Do we not need a number 6 a bit more? Do we not need this a bit more? Do we not... But like you said there, what we actually need is, 20 internationals who are all excellent in the squad. We need 20 very good players and sort of maybe 4 or 5 world-class players, in the mix there. But what we've got at the minute is sort of 14, 15 players who are pretty, very good. We've got maybe, Paul Pogba, I would say, is world class. We've got Bruno, who looks to be around that level. Rashford, who's sort of just towards getting to that level, and Maguire, who I think is one of the better centre backs in the league. We've got a couple of top players sprinkled in there, but what the problem we have is after that, the drop off is too big at the moment for me. The bottom line of our squad is here, and it needs to be here. Like, if let's say Fred gets injured, or as we saw this season, McTominay and Pogba were both injured for about 2 months, weren't they?
Yeah,
I ended up with
on.
Players who just aren't really good enough anymore. And we need to have it so that no matter what injuries we have, no matter what who's suspended, who needs a rest, this person's a bit tired, always got cramp. We need to have good players who can win any game, no matter no matter what the situation is. Go on, what were you saying?
No, I mean, just sort of on that topic. I don't like bashing him because I think there's an easy target. But you look at someone like Andreas Pereira. I can't remember a player so out of form, if you can even call it form, of such low quality, playing so many games in a season for Manchester United. I mean, yes, we've had players who are on a similar level to him who might have played 4 or 5 games, but he's played, I think, 30-odd games for us, and that's because you have 1 or 2 injuries. Now, I'm a big, fan of having Pogba and Bruno if Pogba does stay, which now it looks like he will, in the same team. So if you have them and say a Fred or a McTominay or a Matic behind them, then that for me is an excellent midfield. But if one of those gets injured, then who are you bringing in? Are you going to end up bringing in a Lingard, another one who's completely gone off the boil? Are you going to play someone like a Fred and play him a bit further up? This idea of two midfielders just does my head in. But if you were to bring in someone like, another midfielder, Van der Beek or a Grealish or a Maddison, then you've got options there so that if Pogba or Bruno does get an injury, you've still got an almost world-class player to come in. Whereas if you haven't, you're going to be relying on the same sort of usual suspects that we've all been screaming about.
And that's the thing. People say, oh, well, you shouldn't be spending 40 million, 50 million on a sub or someone who's not a first-choice player. But Andreas Pereira, I don't, again, like you said, it almost feels a bit, not nasty, because I don't think anyone's, I like to think I'm not being out of line in what I'm saying, but just the continual use of Pereira as the go-to, this player hasn't been good for us. But it is hard to pick anyone else, really. But he started 25 games for United this season, I think, and made over 30 appearances in total, including subs. And in your head, he's not a first choice player, even in the current squad, and yet he's still got that many games. So if we had someone like Van der Beek in there, even if he wasn't every single person is fit, he plays 45 games a season. He'll still get 35 games, 35 appearances a season, even if you're just that second backup choice. And in certain games, he might be a better fit in there.
I mean, you look at the distance between us and the Scousers, and people are going to have a go at me now. You talk about Scousers, there's a massive points gap there, and there's a reason for that, and it's because we haven't got the quality. And if you're not going to make that gap up by the status quo or by getting slightly better, we ballsed up. Me and you were talking about this on another podcast a few weeks ago. We ballsed up massively in the summer when we finished second. Well, we didn't go for it really in that summer. We let City and the Scousers get further ahead of us, and now they've progressed, and we've stagnated. So we're playing catch up, and the way to catch them up is to go and buy players that are good enough to get in their team, or go and buy players that are good enough, certainly good enough to get in our first team, or have that conversation and get that competitiveness going. Just buying sort of average players or players that wouldn't get into the top teams in Europe isn't going to cut the mustard anymore. We need to be aiming higher. We've had this break, and we're coming out of it now. You look at our squad, as you mentioned there, it's not that bad. When you talk about it, you talk of likes of Marcus Rashford, who we love, Anthony Martial, Bruno, Pogba if he stays, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's just been outstanding, Harry Maguire. Even, goalkeeper, I think we've had problems with De Gea, but if he goes, we've got Dean Henderson, who's a great goalkeeper. The team is looking good, but if you need to add to that, you need to add top class to it, not just players that wouldn't really get in a Real Madrid team or a Juventus team or a City team. Well, why? Why are we not aiming for those players? Because Manchester United is still a massive draw to a lot of players across the world.
Speaking of adding top class to a team,
nice.
Stephen Howson, ladies and gentlemen.
Here he is.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm on a shit camera. I'm on a webcam because, the other camera's in the boot of my car.
Right. So you got
Amazon parcels, everybody.
Oh, nice. Are you going to do an unboxing live on air?
I can if you want. Do you want to see the sort of exciting shit that I get sent?
Yeah, okay, go on then. You can do that in the background.
We'll carry on this chat. Just get this Ross Edgley book. I like Ross Edgley. He's good.
Right, okay. Forgive me. Go on. Who is he?
Fuck off, Jay.
Yeah. Forgive me as well, who is he?
Right, I'm sorry. I'm not well up on it. Do you know what? Fuck you, Al.
Is he like a CIA?
I'll go in a minute. I'll do what I do on the most podcast.
Do you see the guy that swam all the way around Great Britain?
Oh, sorry. You broke up on me a bit then. You mean Ross Edgley, the extreme athlete who did
all sorts of mad shit.
The world's longest rope climb in 2016.
Look at the sort of exciting stuff that I get fucking sent. Kapow!
Wow.
Hand sanitizer dispenser.
That is on hand sanitizer for the office.
I told you the rash isn't going to go away unless you use soap and water. You can't just keep putting sanitizer on it.
That's the sort of care and attention that I have for my employees, that we're going to have a wall-mounted hand sanitizer.
Nice. That's good. That is
I also got a 6-in-1 USB dongle device. Seeing as though I'm going to have to do more work at home, but without the streaming computer, because that's going back to the office in preparation for next week's watch-along.
Yeah.
And I need extra shit to work on my laptop at home. So, all the essentials today.
And you've got a job in telesales if the whole football thing doesn't work out. I want to buy a 6-in-1 USB dongle adapter now. That's really sold it to me.
Was it the way that went like that?
It was the slide in, yeah. It was something slightly sort of suggestive about it, wasn't it?
That was professional. Yeah. Suggestive. You make it
the way the way he's unsheathed that there. That's what's happened. Yeah,
it's rodeo lads, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fuck that
one. We're not going to have you back for the second interview, but if you come back next year.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, there was a proper Mexican standoff in the street. That's what it was.
Oh, right, yeah, go on.
I should have been here 15 minutes ago. Was fine. Flew home, flying, and then down little terrace streets, up an hill. 2 cars come head to head, and both of them are not having it about backing up. 15 minutes I'm sitting there. And there's like 6 cars behind me, so I can't go anywhere. It's all fucked up.
Jesus.
It takes someone to be the bigger man. And that was not the guy coming down the hill in front of us. It was the guy behind me.
The person going uphill should have right of way, shouldn't they?
Well, yeah, he should. But people are dicks.
I think so. I mean, I don't have a driver's license, so why would I know? But I'm pretty sure, because it's easier to stop going down a hill than it is to restart going up a hill, I think. Something like that. I don't know. Donny van der Beek, Steve, what do you reckon?
Like I said to you about an hour ago, feels real.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. First of all, do you think this one's got legs? Do you think this is legit?
Feels like something in it. This is the thing, like, because I want to get excited about the Saul Niguez stuff. There was another one today which said Saul Niguez, 71 million, the fee is agreed. But it's because of who's saying them. When it's in Give Me Sport or The Sun or something like that, you just go, fuck off. No, it ain't. But when you start thinking, the sort of people make it, and also, like we said earlier, if you were doing a Venn diagram of people who might know what's going on with Donny van der Beek to Manchester United, Edwin van der Sar kind of sits right in the middle of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, just a bit.
And he's saying we're after him, so it must be true. We must be after him. Or do you think there's a chance that we're not even after him? Surely we are.
I think there's a list. I think he's on a list. Don't know if he's the top, middle, or bottom on that list. Assuming it's a 3-person list. You know, I think he's on a list. You know, when you think Havertz, Grealish, everybody's saying there's something in all of these. Well, guess what? We're not signing 3 number 10s when we've already got like half a dozen. So I think that's your list. I think Grealish, Havertz, Van der Beek. You can argue amongst yourselves who's number 1 to 3 on that list, but I think that is your list for number 10s. Ollie clearly wants this position for a specific reason. You know, I think that's the crack.
Do you reckon there's we've been doing this thing where we have one number 10 generally this season, and everyone seems to think, everyone who I speak to, everyone who you see online is saying, why aren't we after a number 6? Why aren't we after a number 6? Do you think he's just set on, we play a 2-man pivot no matter what, which is why we're not after an out-and-out number 6? It seems like he's happy with that Matic, Fred and McTominay as those options, and maybe even Pogba to drop back as well.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
The actions would suggest that it seems that way, but he's also supposedly in for another centre-half, and you're like, hang on, we got quite a lot of them. It seems like he's after players in positions, 2 positions, number 10 and centre half, where we've got a lot of players there, but not a lot of quality there, or not a lot of fit quality at centre half. I think you could say, because I think Axel and Lindelof and Baye is pretty good second, third, and fourth choice centre half, but if they're not all fit or you're not quite happy with certain characteristics in certain players, makes a lot of sense why he's probably after a proper leader again. But, yeah. I think there's lists.
It's a real shame with the centre half thing, because like you say, we all love Eric Bailly. We all love Axel Tuanzebe. But for whatever reason, I mean, Tuanzebe's a bit weird. We didn't really see much of him this season at all, and I thought this might be his breakthrough at United anyway. And Eric Bailly just can't get a decent run going, can he, in terms of fitness?
Don't forget Jones.
Good point, Phil Jones.
Let's forget Jones, because I don't even think
he's a legend.
He didn't even turn up for that fucking behind closed doors game the other day, did he?
He went to the wrong place, didn't he? Turned up at Old Trafford with his boots. Like, what's going on?
It was at Old Trafford.
That's a Heineken in that mug, in that can.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the comments saying Van der Beek's going to be a bit more of an 8. Again, yeah, but Bruno's like that. You wouldn't really. I mean, is he a 10? Yeah, but is he an 8? Yeah. I mean, Pogba, is he a 10? Well, yeah, but is he an 8? Yeah. Like, they're all a little bit flexible, aren't they? And I wonder if he's thinking of some sort of diamond. You know, I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. Or maybe he's just thinking, fuck it, I'll have loads of flexibility in my squad, which is never a bad thing. I'm
hoping he's just getting rid of this fucking 2 holding midfielders, Malaki. I know I keep banging on about it, but it does seem like that. I mean, if you're going to have Bruno and Pogba in the same midfield, which surely you're going to, you can't be having, neither of them are going to be a holding midfielder either. I mean, I saw Rooney was saying that he actually thinks Pogba could play deep. Yeah, I disagree. I think Pogba, I know he can come deep and play those passes, but I certainly wouldn't like to see him sitting there. I'd like to see him more box to box. So, yes, sometimes he is deep, obviously, and other times he's moving forward, because when Pogba has actually dropped deep under Jose, it was a bit of a disaster. I mean, obviously, there was other things going on under Jose, but, that's not Paul Pogba's best role, sitting deep. I think his best work is further up the pitch. So, yeah, if we are getting another option, and we've already got Bruno and Pogba there, another attacking midfielder option, and I'm all for that, because I think that Fred or McTominay, Matic's maybe got one of the season left on him, could probably do that job on their own. I know people may go, there's question marks about them, but when you've got quality like Bruno and Pogba in front of you as well, it makes your job a lot easier.
Pogba sitting deep, I think. The problem with Pogba is we might end up in a situation, and this happened with Rooney a lot in his career, and to his credit, he sort of overcame almost all of it. But because he's so good and so versatile, you end up being the one that gets moved around all the time. Whereas instead of being, what's Wayne Rooney's best position, probably as a pair, a strike pair, or wherever he decides to play number 10, whatever. But he ends up playing on the left, he ends up playing at number 8, he ends up playing at 10, he ends up playing at 9, depending on who is in the rest of the squad. And Pogba is almost our sort of Rooney now, where he gets all the attention, all the criticism. He can play 6, he can play 8, he can play 10, he can play on the left, he can push out on the right. And you end up where you're the one, because you're so good, you're better than average in all these positions. You get pushed out for lesser players in the position you're actually better in. And I think there aren't many midfielders in the world who can get 10 goals and 15 assists at number 10 or at number 8 where he got it last season. So I think we have to put Pogba in his best position rather than, well, he can play 6 and we've got too many number 10s, so we'll let them play there and we'll move him about. We need to put our best players in their best positions rather than, we can play there, so we'll move them around, because you end up wasting the best years of world-class players because they're sort of versatile. It's almost their weakness how versatile they are. And I hope that doesn't happen with Pogba.
Joe, you don't see moved around a lot.
Oh.
Goalkeepers.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, although Bartes played centre mid once.
They do pretty much stick to... Although saying that, actually, George Campos... George Campos,
I remember him.
The Mexican goalkeeper, he used to wear an outfield playing shirt underneath with his squad number and name on it, underneath his regular goalkeeper shirt, because usually, with about 10-15 minutes to go, they'd sub on the other keeper and he'd go play left wing.
Steve, do you remember Was it Cantona's testimonial? I know when he came back to United and he had that nutty French keeper with a ball. Were you there? Is that when it was? Do you remember?
Barthez or a different one?
No. For Eric,
that nutty French goalkeeper won the World Cup, mate.
With a ball there. No, he was nutty. He was too nutty. He was a nightmare. Do you remember?
Squirrel shit he was.
I think it was Eric's testimonial when he came back to Old Trafford and had a testimonial game.
I remember it. I don't remember the keeper.
Yeah, there was a guy in goal who was just off his head. He was French. I think he was French. He was bald, but he was he kept taking the ball out because obviously it was a friendly and trying to shoot and stuff like that. And it just reminded me of. But when you said about Jorge Campos, it was like that. Yeah, it just sort of took me down that road, but I couldn't remember who it was. It weren't Barthez though. I don't think it was.
There was definitely a game where Barthez came on in midfield or was trying to come on in midfield or something. There was
pre-season game, I think it was.
He was a guy off his head though, Barthez. Do you remember when he tried? What was it? He came running out to Henry and then fell over.
Seen him smoking at a bar. Joint smoking used to be allowed at bars.
Oh yeah.
Seen him standing at the end of the bar having a tab, and you're like,
yeah, he definitely smoked, didn't he?
Was there weed in it by any chance?
I can't confirm or deny. Diego Forlan used to go out in a suit.
Really?
What, on a night out?
Yeah. This is like 2000s as well,
cute,
where people are wearing like ripped jeans with Timberland boots and a t-shirt, and he's wearing a fucking suit done up.
But he's earning like 30, probably 25 grand a week. Like it's just his own style, but it does almost feel a bit, that's cute. It's like really hard to go on his night out.
Everyone was in jeans and trainers and a t-shirt and stuff, and he's wearing a suit and had his hair down a bit like what yours looks like now, where it's just down. Because he never played with his hair down like that, did he? So he just looked fucking weird, and you're just like, what's this dickhead?
Mad for him, wasn't he? He's like,
which United players have you had a piss next to?
Which United players have you had a piss next to?
Yeah.
Shockey. Lee Sharp, that's it, I think.
I've had gigs, and it was right about the time all the stuff was coming out of his brother-in-law, and I really wanted to say that dick's got you in some trouble, and it's some. but I didn't because that would have been rude.
Oh, big shout out! Can I just say, big shout out to James Barber who said Pascal Olmeta was the goalkeeper.
Olmeta,
good lad.
Who the fuck did he play for? Did he play for like Nonce or something?
Someone like that. He was one of Eric's mates, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Eric just got his fam down. I remember his brother played as well, but he was garbage even in the friendly. No offense, Joel.
Astia. In 99, he would have been at where? Gazellec Football Club Ajaccio.
What country is that? Gazellec.
You're just making up words now, Steve. Come on.
It feels like
South America.
I don't even know where. France.
Not South America.
French non-league, I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's not high up, is it? I don't think they go in the Champions League.
Like, I'll get my mate who used to play when we were 12. I'll get him down. He can go in goal.
He was at Marseille in 1990. That's probably where he knew Eric.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's the link. The absolute fucking maniac.
Oh.
Someone in the comments there with a super chat. Hello, Joe. Hello. I'll wave back for that. What do you reckon to this transfer market stuff? The FIFA is set to announce that the national leagues can open their summer transfer windows up to 4 weeks before the end of the current season, but any signings will not be eligible to play until next season. Is that just business as usual, or is there anything even in that?
No, it's fine, isn't it?
It's just what you'd expect, isn't it? It would have been funnier if they'd have gone, it's open, boys, and the people were making transfers before the season ended. That would have been fun. I'd have absolutely loved that. Speaking of transfers and contracts, though, it looks like Brandon Williams and Dean Henderson are getting extending their contracts. Are you surprised that Dean Henderson's extended his contract? Do you think there'd be part of him that was maybe thinking of like, let me just sort of play the field a bit more here? Because obviously he's not certain at all to be playing for United, and he might have just tied himself down to another 5 years of being loaned out. Yeah,
that unless they've put some outrageous fucking fee in front of him, he might be playing a bit hard to get on this. A-Fever's absolutely shagging my face at the minute.
Have you got antihistamine?
Yeah.
No, I'm all out.
Put your face in cold water.
Oh, Juho says, anyone still having difficulty watching the members video? Yeah, me, for one.
Yeah.
I messaged YouTube and they were like, oh, thank you for telling us.
Yeah. So we're going to delete it and I'm going to re-upload it tonight.
Yeah, we're just gonna upload a fresh one and see if that works. And if it doesn't, I don't fucking know.
We'll just have to. We'll have to just make it public if it doesn't, or we could upload it to Facebook and put it in the Facebook members page. You can watch it there.
Yeah, we will figure it out. We will figure it out. There's a vlog coming on a weekend, should we say, from today as well, which you definitely want to check out.
You any good at golf, Jay?
No, I'm not. Pitch and putt when I was a kid was about my the extent of my golfing.
Yeah, we're not either.
Experience. No,
we're terrible.
I'm no Tiger Woods.
Provably terrible. Yeah, provably terrible.
It was a good laugh though.
It was a good laugh.
It's good just doing some activity that wasn't like Xbox or like YouTube, was it? It was weird just doing something different. I hadn't done anything in it in 3 months.
What was it like? Is it quiet out there? Was it?
No, it was rammed.
Yeah, it was really busy.
It was rammed, yeah.
I mean, rammed for a golf course. You're still with, the nearest person's 200 meters away, but like we had to let people through because we were just being too slow. And yeah. Oh,
this is why I could never go golf. I'd be that guy. I would well be that guy.
I lost more balls than we had holes.
Yeah. Alex, on the first hole, there's like, oh, just be careful on the right because there's a horse sanctuary on the right or horse stables or something. And we're like, yeah. Both of us just slammed it, sliced it straight right. Stephen's gone. Stephen's ball just gone. That's in some.
There's a fucking horse on its side twitching. No, for anyone that's worried, that's not true.
No horse were killed. No horse.
We couldn't see over the fence.
So
it's a hypothetical horse.
Yeah. Very hypothetical horse. Yeah.
Going back to your original question though, Joe, the Brandon Williams one makes loads of sense, doesn't it? I don't think anyone's questioning that. Do you know what I mean?
No. I mean, he did sign one in October, didn't he? But I suppose I think he'd only played 2 games or something then, and now he's played, I think, 26. So I guess you'd understand why he's.
There's a case to be made that maybe his first choice. I don't know. I know Shaw had better form towards just before lockdown, but a big part of that was as part of a back three as well sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say most of the Shaw's good form came as a centre half.
Yeah, not as a left back. So
I think what Brandon offers in the final third is quite substantial, to be honest with you.
Mm. Yeah, it's not a surprise that he's getting a pay rise, is it? And also, it seems like from what we've heard or what we've read at least, that he's currently on less than has been offered to sort of Chong and Gomez in that region. So you'd assume he would be on at least what they're on. He really should be on more than what they're on, shouldn't he?
I thought I knew it was on when he signed his pro deal. He did sign what you would consider quite cheap, consider the numbers that have gone around.
Yeah.
But it was the way his agent explained it to me, and if this isn't letting Brandon's fucking washing out, but this is everybody at this level, especially players who you're not certainly like you're not when he signed it. I don't think he was expecting to play fucking 28 games, or whatever it is he's played.
No,
or whatever he has played. I don't know what he's played. It feels like a lot.
26, I think.
He's actually played 26. That's mad.
I'll just check it, but I think so.
So youth player contracts, especially ones that you're thinking probably fringe first team, maybe, but definitely like an under 23 contract. They have these little, it's like an MVQ almost, little check boxes that if they go through, it moves them up in terms of wages. And he was starting at like a very much what everybody else at youth level across the country is on, let alone what they're on at United. But it's like if you get on to 20 under 23 games, let alone first team games, your new wage is this. If you get onto the bench for the first team 5 times, your new wage is this. So there's all sorts of weird little incentives that are in there. And I think we've mentioned this before, haven't we? Like, when you see a player coming on for 30 seconds and you're going, oh, fuck off, why bother? Players buzzing with that because that's a little box checked for them moving up their next thingy. So I think there's another reason why he's signing his contract. It's not necessarily negative reason, but I'm not saying what it is. So
regardless, I'm glad he I'm glad he is, and it used to be a bit of a bugbear of mine in the past years ago. Under one of the small criticisms about a Fergie, sometimes local lads got the pants pulled down We saw it a few times with the likes of Wes not getting offered as much as O'Shea and players like that, and Welbeck not getting offered as much as. All right, it's laughable now. It was Chicharito at the time when they were both playing the same amount of games. And you want players to be happy, give him what he deserves. He's playing the first team for Manchester United, and he is. He's played more than just 1 or 2 games, as you said. And we want him to stay. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been impressed. I didn't know half as much as you guys did, especially you, Steve, about him before this season. And when as soon as I saw him, I was like, who the fucking hell is this lunatic? But he's
also in the fucking studio playing FIFA last year.
Yeah, but that didn't help me analyse him as a player.
I know, but how mad's that? Like, he's just fucking coming down, hanging out and playing FIFA last year, and then he's fucking smashing them in for United. Scoring goals, throwing motherfuckers through advertising boards. You're just like, this is fucking quality.
Do you think he's brought one of the reasons why Luke Shaw has like changed his form as well? Like, finally, he's got someone to look over his shoulder at.
Maybe
he's got to be part of it, hasn't it?
I just think there's a weird fire burns in a couple of players that you just can't fuck with. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair though, Shaw, let's not forget, Shaw wasn't even first choice left back when he got fit again. Ashley Young kept his place.
Yeah.
Then you had Suan Zabi was given a go at one point. You know, if Shaw needs someone young coming, there's a big problem there because he should have been chomping at the bit anyway to get back into the United team and eventually back into the England's fold as well, because that had gone out the window for him. So I don't necessarily think that's it. I think Steve, you've mentioned it a few times. There's been a lot of time and energy exerted on Shaw. I was impressed with Shaw the way he came back from the Jose Mourinho criticism. I thought he kicked on a bit, but then he went backwards again. And I just think
it reminds me of Johnny Mates with an absolute crank of a bird. And they're splitting up and getting back together and splitting up and getting back together. And he's like, she's changed, mate. She's not doing Beek all night long. And you're just like, fuck off, mate. You know the crack as well as I do, right? That's what Luke Shaw reminds me of. Like some sort of crazy ex-bird that someone just keeps getting back together with. And you're like, can you just fucking see them off, mate? They're not, this is who they are. Like, and from people I know inside the club that have said, you won't believe the resources that have been pumped into this guy. Now, I think the club do a disservice to themselves and their players on loads of different fronts. Like, I think they should have people that look after the players and make sure that they have everything. Like, real player liaisons, so they don't have to do anything. And people say, oh, they're fucking babied. Well, do you know what? They're assets, and they're assets that are worth tens and tens of millions of pounds. Any other business would look after them assets like they were worth tens and tens of millions of pounds and not treat them like like feral cats. Just let them go out and do whatever they want. Like, these are young men with loads of temptation, shitloads of cash, and like getting mithered constantly like we can't even fathom from all sorts of people who want to take advantage of them, steer them off into the woods and make them do bad shit. So you've got to look after those. And whether that feels like babying, and on some hand you can say, well, they need to also stand up on their own 2 feet and be adult about it. And you go, of course they fucking do. But I think the clubs could really help. And by the sounds of it, Luke Shaw's been getting a lot of that help, but he's not able to take it on board and take it to the next level. Like, I know Marcus has a physio which goes round and just looks at the slight muscle imbalances in him. Oh, you can stretch like 1 centimeter to the left a bit more than the right. Let's work on that. Checking over his core and his balances and all that sort of stuff. And he has meals prepared for him that are macronutrient centric and calorie centric to make sure that he's recovering and not going over his calories. Actually, Marcus has an issue, which is a weird issue that I don't think many have. When he gets injured or when he's not playing regularly, he can't keep weight on. So Marcus has got special sort of diet for when he's because when he was injured, he'd lost like 3 or 4 kilograms, which is a weird thing, but he'd lost that weight. So they was making him eat more, and he's got like quite a small appetite. So he was fucking getting annoyed with how much he was having to eat and how regularly he was having to eat. But that's because he's got, a nutritionalist that's actually looking after his shit day to day. And you think, for 1% of your wages, you can have a guy that's sorting out your nutrition to this sort of level. And it's mad that one, the club don't do that for every player. Like, if the club employed 5 nutritionalists to look after the first team, it'd be enough probably, wouldn't it? And make even all their meals for them and deliver them. Or, they can pick them up from training or whatever. Why wouldn't you do that? But the players go out and get them on their own. Some players go out and get them on their own, and some players have got a fucking deliverer account like me.
Well, I think that what they have to do is, part of what the club do, like I said, whoever, these services need to be available. But part of what is hopefully you'd like to think good about the club is them seeing who needs it and who doesn't as well. Because certain players, like you assume, maybe are a bit better at handling these things on their own. But I suppose, most people, even if you sort of, you think of Juan Mata as sort of a very sensible, down to earth, I wouldn't think he likes to get his weights. He seems quite intelligent, all this sort of thing that you would sort of attribute to Juan Mata. But that doesn't mean that he's got a master's degree in sports science or in sports nutrition or in physiotherapy. Like, you still need people to sort of overwatch and look over these people, even if it's sort of, well, he's not going to get fat if we leave him alone. But really, you want that. This amount of broccoli is being weighed. This gram of this is being weighed. He's got this at this time and that at that time. Like I said, these people who, when you take into account, let's say Paul Pogba, who's cost 80 million or whatever, it was 90 million, 5-year contract plus his wages. The club's paying sort of between 20 and 25 million a year if you take the transfer into account for that player. And for that, you've got to just manage every single detail, like I said, and you can't allow people coming back from even something as strange like coronavirus, people coming back 5-6 kilos overweight. Like, you used to hear stories of like Rooney and stuff, didn't you? He'd come back 4 or 5 kilos overweight. You're like, how has that been allowed to happen?
I wonder which player's coming back the fattest.
You didn't hear stories. You could just see it with Rooney.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's anybody at United that I expect to come back in like having it large, but there's got to be a player in the Premier League that's just come back and gone up 4 gene sizes.
Well, Hazard was. He signed for Madrid for 100 million euros and looked like a chubby little chicken nugget on the wing, didn't he? He looked almost like cherubic, this cute little like, go on lads, running down the wing. No wonder he got injured. His ankles are holding like 2 stone more than they used to.
These are words that you get on Stretford Paddock. You just don't get them anywhere else.
Ruben-esque.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Premier League. Who's got? I mean, Luke Shaw's the one everyone points to, but he looked all right to me in that.
I'm going to Google fattest Premier League players.
Probably. Yeah. Do you remember the old favourite Andy Reid when he used to be knocking about?
Oh,
the Sunderland. He was a right unit in, wasn't he?
Kevin Pressman, Thomas Brolin, Paddy Kenny.
Thomas Brolin was a mad one because he went from pretty slim to just absolutely piling it on, didn't he? When he was at Leeds, wasn't he? And he was a right fat bar steward.
Kevin Pressman was big and all.
This one's done it by BMI. That's not going to make sense.
Yeah, you seen the comments in the super chat as well, you guys?
No, missed it.
There was 2. There's one from Isaac Prem and one from Ross Murphy.
Has Alex still kept his job at the golf club? I think he just about has. We did all the controversial stuff like down the back of the course. So we got the drone out, we started drinking, we were doing all that sort of stuff toward the back. So I don't think anyone saw.
Thomas Brolin looked like he ate another Thomas Brolin.
And Isaac there, Isaac Prem, missed the start, was it with Van der Beek? Might have to just go back and watch the start, I think. But we talked. It just looks like it might happen, doesn't it? It's interesting. It's one of those where he's on a list.
Did Anderson really put on weight?
Anderson was
a big one anyway.
Frequenting Birdcage, apparently.
I don't know if it was
Wednesday night.
Yeah, I've heard that. I know a few things about that. I'll tell you later.
Oh yeah, please do. Have you been? Obviously, you two must have been to Birdcage.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, never once. No, never once. I've never been.
To be honest, I don't know why I'm saying yeah. Like I went once.
Oh, yes.
We got a table at a load of us when it was a good laugh actually. But yeah, only the one.
I wouldn't have thought it would be the sort of the regular haunt for kind of millionaire footballers though. But I suppose if that's your style, isn't it? Anderson getting in there. It's shut now though, isn't it?
Has it what? For
Birdcage.
Yeah, done. Birdcage gone.
Oh.
The bird has flown. Yeah.
We sent me over there. We was walking through
Tiger.
town. Was like, wonder what percentage of all this lot's going to go tits up in this lockdown. Because obviously the office is in Northern Quarter, isn't it? We're like, it's got to be 10-15%, isn't it? It's got to be.
because you're surrounded by bars and pubs for those who don't know. But yeah, Tiger's gone on the one side, Birdcage has gone on the other. There's like a little zoo down that road, all the animal-themed bars, and half of them are gone. All that's left now is Manchipster Place, which has got too many puns in for one chippy, and you can't have 2 puns in one chip shop name.
No, it's all madness. That Kane and Grain's still alive and kicking though. Don't do ribs after midnight though.
What?
No matter how many times you ask them.
Yeah, too many times is the answer to that.
Can you imagine?
I tell you what I love on that road where Birdcage is that Withy Grove stores. Do you know the one I mean? And they sell like safes and like office chairs. And how is that place still going? It never seems to be.
That's got to be prime real estate, hasn't it? That's going to get tens of thousands a month in rent, surely.
Yes. And it's just Withy Grove stores, all this rundown selling safes.
Doesn't look like anyone's in it, but if you actually go up close, it's open. And you're like, no.
It's a perfectly legitimate business and not a front for anything at all.
Wow, Jay. Can I get an allegedly thrown in the mix there?
I've said it
seems like
a legitimate business.
Right, yeah, but there was a sarcasm in your tone. I'm going to be honest.
$30K a month or whatever in rent and making it work by selling one safe a year.
Or, do you know what it could be? It might even be one of them. Because they might even own that portion of the building. That would maybe make a bit more sense as to why they left.
Maybe they bought it in like the 40s or whatever, or the granddad bought it and they just kept it.
Yeah, they don't actually pay rent on it. They just leave it.
Yeah.
They're not asked. That is like inherited privilege.
Yeah, they've still got some money in the bank from the 50s when it was popular, and there's no point closing down because it's somewhere to go on a weekday, isn't it?
Do you know what though? That entire row coming up the hill from there is fucking gross. Because
there's that book that's quite nice.
Right. And it's nestled in between 47 pizza places. Now I'm a pizza guy, but these are shit pizzas. These are the sort of pizzas where it might as well be microwave. They're wank.
Yeah, it's a lot of after dinner.
You had it up with me for saying something, and you've just absolutely ruined all the pizza places on that. Yeah,
you just
there's not a good one.
Not one. At Manchipster Place. Spelled PLAICE.
There isn't a good one along there. And just up the road, there's Dough, and there's some really good ones like Crazy Pedro's, and obviously further up Rudy's, there's some outrageously good pizza places.
Pasta Factory and Noi Quattro further up that road as well.
I haven't been to Noi Quattro yet. That's one that I definitely need to go to. Yeah, I've heard it's belting. They're doing deliveries actually, so you can cook them at home.
Oh yeah, I would recommend the cook at home rather than they do delivery where you can actually get them delivered as well. But that thin style. By the time it gets to you, it's cold and like soupy in the middle. You don't want a soupy idea. Someone said you should start your own chip shop, Stephen, called Mushy Stees.
I don't want to be a chippy man. I'm a pizza guy.
Mushy Steve sounds a bit gross as well, doesn't it? I don't like that.
Yeah, that could be 4 other different style of businesses, not just chippies.
Yeah, no.
Barry says Rudy's is overrated. Just fucking get out.
How is it overrated?
It's exactly what you want in a pizza.
Yeah.
Hang on, someone's saying, is that true? Let me just
I'm checking it now. No, it's not true. Next.
That was a lie.
It's weird that, isn't it, that you just lie in some YouTube comments about Fabrizio Romano saying that Van der Beek signed for United. Because he hadn't said it. And it takes 2 seconds to check it. It's not done that much damage, has it?
Someone's commented Stretford Haddock in the comments. Joe, please run and go and get the thing for me, please. The stickers are on Janine's desk.
Why have you already got this? It's already.
I need to unplug.
Is this a thing?
This is the thing.
Stretford Haddock.
Yeah. So we obviously created the Stretford Haddock, didn't we? And now we've got stickers for it too. If you order some merch, you've got a 1 in 6 chance that it'll come with a Stretford Haddock sticker on it. As our lovely assistant Joseph's gonna show you now.
These stickers in my life.
Hang on. Let it focus. Oh, there we go. Look at them.
Perfect.
How cool are they? So that's what the merch gets held together with. Aren't they good?
Very good. I need one.
Right. Should we wrap it up there, gents? Once Joe gets back. We've got cans. We've got Adam's beautiful little tiger face on there. We've got the Paddock logo. We've got the Transfer Seagulls, one of them as well. All sorts of good stuff, yeah.
There's some really good ones.
If you order merch, you can get stuff like that. Someone say, sure, that's not a cod. Not really.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. It's clip art fish, is what it is.
I love that. I can get on board with that sort of pedantry. Doesn't look like I had it to me.
Yeah, Captain Birdseye in the comments, like he knows.
Right, should we leave it there then?
Yeah.
I'll be doing an in-depth Van der Beek look later on my channel around about 8 bells if you would like to come and check that out. But remember, the best watch-along that is in the whole wide world, because we're the only one that gets absolutely fucking steaming drunk while we're watching the match.
Yeah.
That's the place to be. We'll see you there next Friday. Listen to how good that sounds. Next Friday. Be there. We're getting twisted.
Mm-hmm. It's like poetry now. Like music. Sweet music.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
I'm worried for this. We're gonna end up at some pub that shouldn't be open that is open, or that you have
That's the one, isn't it, where someone's like, you got knocked 14 times in a certain pattern, like.
Yeah, and there's like cages set up like on the walls and stuff, and you have to be in your own cage for social distancing and that.
There's a few of them down Great Ancoat Street.
I'll write that down.
Oh, are they pubs? Oh, don't matter.
I know the ones where the lights are flashing at 4 a.m. You think, I'm sure that's breaching alcohol laws, but let's go in.
Well, do you know what? My lower lumbar is really tight, so and we fucking go. Right, laters.